Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've not seen my videos before, I'm Bex. I upload videos every Monday and I deal with infertility, parenting and lifestyle. This week I decided I would like to do a video on infertility at Christmas and how I sort of try to cope with that. It's a really difficult topic, and particularly so for someone who struggled with infertility and now has since had a baby. I don't want to cause any offence to anyone with it, but I also found I was most alone at that time of year and I really struggled, and there wasn't very much help out there for how to deal with Christmas when you're struggling with infertility and all you want for Christmas is a baby. So without further ado, I'll try to just give you some quick tips of what I did to try and cope with it. Tip number one would be to take a break from social media. I didn't consciously decide to do this. A couple of years ago, when I was at sort of the peak of struggling with infertility, somebody I knew announced their pregnancy, and they had announced it sort of before it went on Facebook, and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to cope with seeing the scanned photo and all the sort of onslaught of other announcements that were going to make their way onto Facebook. So I just signed myself out, and I thought I'll sign myself back in when I feel able to. It transpired that ended up being near enough a year that I was off Facebook for, but I found it definitely helped me to not see any pregnancy announcements or pictures of kids on Facebook. So I would definitely recommend taking a bit of a break from social media. I also found that I sort of sought out Instagram instead of Facebook. Instagram's a strange sort of social media platform in that it can be a great place to sort of bury yourself into, look at other things, but it can also be just as difficult as Facebook because you have that sort of picture perfect view of someone's life and it isn't real. So if you still want to be on Instagram or something like that, maybe start a new account for yourself and just create new sort of interests that you want to look at on there. So I only looked at accounts that had things that would make me feel better. So things like cakes, flowers and sort of florist things, homes and interiors. And I only looked at those sorts of things rather than the everyday sort of pictures that you would have with people that you would know, or that would entail pictures of babies or pregnant women, just because that's not something that I could cope with looking at the time. Tip number two is more of a practical thing for Christmas, which is to ask someone else to shop for children's Christmas presents for you, if that is something that you're able to do. Or to maybe look at giving books or gift cards instead of toys or children's clothes. I just found that I couldn't go shopping for those at the peak of me struggling with infertility. I just found I couldn't be around anything that reminded me of what I really, really wanted, because it made me feel so sort of gut-wrenchingly sad that I couldn't be around shops that had toys or children's clothes in them. Along those same sorts of lines would be tip number three. It would be to do shopping online, particularly sort of grocery shopping, which is something I didn't do, but looking back would have definitely helped me. At one particular point, I found it really, really difficult to go into supermarkets, particularly just because I would have to find a way of going around the supermarket that would avoid the baby aisle, like with the nappies and everything else on it. And I just found at some points I would have anxiety attacks in the supermarket just because everywhere I looked there was someone with a baby in the trolley or a car seat with a baby in it, and I just felt I just couldn't make it around the supermarket, and to do that around Christmas felt particularly cruel. So it's not something I did, but looking back would have been really helpful, would have been to do my grocery shopping online and to just have it delivered. Then I wouldn't have to deal with that sort of reminder every week. Again, something I didn't do, but looking back would have really helped me, would have been to spend Christmas away on a break somewhere, maybe like a couple's sort of place to go. Then it wouldn't be filled full of children, and again be a sort of sad reminder of what we couldn't have. So I would really recommend considering planning in advance, going somewhere on a mini break, or just even renting a cottage somewhere where it can just be the two of you, and you're away from all the sort of sad reminders that Christmas can bring up. Something I did do at this time that I really struggled with and didn't want to do, but definitely made me feel better once I'd done it, was to get out for walks, no matter what the weather was really. I just found it blew the cobwebs away and stopped me having the build-up of feelings. It just, for some reason, I felt so much better once I'd got out and got some fresh air. What I did like to do was to focus on the new year and put some practical things in place for that new year that would help me feel like I was doing something constructive. So I would try and make sure that I was on top of hospital appointments and making sure that if they hadn't been sorted out before Christmas, they were all arranged for the new year. So I felt like I was going into the new year doing something useful and constructive about the struggle with infertility, and that I had something to aim for, and that there was a plan in place to sort of move forward with. Something that's difficult to do when you're feeling sad and sorry for yourself is to look after yourself, but self-care is really important. So doing things to sort of take care of yourself, whether it's just a soak in the bath with a magazine, or whether it's getting your hair done, or treating yourself to a new pair of shoes, or just doing little things for yourself to make yourself feel better, particularly at the time of the month when your period arrives and it's a reminder of the fact that it's yet another month that hasn't come to anything. Then doing little things for yourself certainly helps to sort of take the edge off feeling sorry for yourself, really. My final tips are to give yourself permission to not go to family events if you don't want to go to them. Sod everybody, really. If they don't understand, that's their tough luck, really. You have to put yourself first, and if you don't feel like doing something, then don't do it. Don't give in to other people's expectations of what you should or shouldn't be doing at this time of year. If it doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it. There isn't a rule book that says you have to do something or that you have to be somewhere. If it just feels too difficult for you, you have to look after yourself and have to put your own sanity first. And if the people really are truly there for you and truly your friends or truly your family, they will understand. And if they don't understand at that point, maybe they will come to understand in time. I hope these tips have been helpful, and if you need to talk to anybody and you don't have someone to talk to, then feel free to message me and I'll help wherever I can. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.